8 to 10 p.m. The Viewpoint with Ashraf Garda.
Every night, between talking and getting to the drama, we have a feature called The Innovators, for obvious reasons. We want to emphasize the importance of innovation, of thought, innovation of ideas, innovation of actual product, just about everything. The need to innovate is important. So with that in mind, let's find out what is quantum thinking. Wendy Mahoney is with me. She's an innovation specialist and the MD of Newmella Holdings. Wendy, good chatting to you as always. Thanks for your time.
Pleasure. Always good chatting to you.
Absolutely. So let's start with a definition. Quantum thinking. What is that?
Well, that's the latest in innovation thinking systems. Though before I clarify what quantum thinking is, I'll probably need to backtrack a little bit to provide a little bit of context. Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So now, in terms of innovation, you need, inductive thinkers, deductive thinkers, divergent, convergent, and all that basically means in simple language is in the box, out the box, so abstract thinkers and then detail thinkers. And because the primary thinking system in innovation is design thinking, which is inspiration, then you get ideation, and then you implement. Mm-hmm. So, and each of those three requires different skills. They require your abstract, they require your detail people, your project-oriented people, your detail, etc. There's a variety of skills. So then what we've got now, quantum thinking, which is the latest in innovation thinking research, which is you've got three brains. So you've got a limbic brain, you've got the neocortex, and you have the cerebellum. So the cerebellum is the seat of your subconscious, where 95% of your daily habits and thinking actually comes from. And you've got your limbic and your neocortex. Your limbic is where most of your feelings are actually originated from. So when we're operating in a position of stress, so if we're in a high position of stress, we're in high beta, we're operating in our limbic system, that immediately puts us into the known possibilities. It puts us in a state of contraction, and it focuses us on an object, which basically means it's counter-innovative. Mm-hmm, so what we need to do is we need to actually get into a state where we're accessing our neocortex. And when you're accessing your neocortex, that's when you're in a state of creation, because innovation is all about its creation, its inspiration. You're in a state of expansion, your focus is open, you tap into all possibilities, and you tap completely into the unknown. So in a completely different field. The challenge, though, is that you need to bypass your normal human reactions, your unconscious biases, your natural, what we call your meta-program ways of processing or reacting to things, limiting beliefs, to be able to access your neocortex. And that's what it means in a brief explanation.
Okay, so now, and I mean, some of it understandably would be rather complicated for people listening about it or hearing it for the very first time. But let's then reduce it to the practicalities. So two things for a listener. Why is it important, and what do they do about it? Because I think key for all of us is like, okay, whatever you're saying and in all that jargon, how can I use that to get ahead in my life? So tell me.
Okay. So that was, apologies for the jargon. It is complex topic. So the simplest would be, remember that as soon as you are responding in a negative emotion, so specifically your negative emotions, whether that's anger, frustration, impatience, you're immediately operating from your limbic brain. And what that means is you are harming your ability to be able to innovate, because you're locking, and it's based in neuroscience. So you're locking yourself into a box. You limit your options, your possibilities. You lack innovative thinking. You actually are operating at a lower level of your natural intelligence. So you're actually losing intelligence the more that you're responding in emotion. And it's geared because, remember, our limbic system is where our fight or flight comes from. And back in the day, if we saw a lion, we reacted, our adrenals plumped adrenaline, and we ran, which is great. But as soon as you are you having those stress hormones, that anger and frustration repeatedly, you're actually pulling away from energy that disenables your neocortex to think.
All right. So your thoughts then, how many people at this point in time are already doing what you are suggesting?
in terms of managing their emotional responses and operating from their neocortex and post-limbic?
Yes, that's right.
Well, those who understand the research and who understand literally that it's not a new age concept, it's based in neuroscience. So, you can use mindful techniques, you can practice being aware of as soon as you go into a state of negative emotion and being aware of the fact that you actually are harming your ability to innovate. You can meditate. Meditation's fantastic for releasing those emotions. Whatever it is that you do to be able to detach from those emotions, because all you're doing is you're compounding your situation.
Can you then work on yourself, or do you always? And I understand you would be someone who would be training in that space, right? But a person listening say, okay, I need to sort myself out. I think I'm underperforming as a human being. Can you self-correct? Can you be your own gym trainer, or do you need help?
Well, I would always. You can help yourself, absolutely. I would always advocate, though, seeking out the knowledge, and we. In the age of information, which means that, ignorance is a choice. So there are a great neuroscientist who I'm a massive fan of his work is Dr. Joe Dispenza. Dr. Joe Dispenza, you can go onto YouTube, you can Google him. He's done amazing research into actually literally monitoring brain waves when people are in a state of innovation and when they are in a state of high stress. So they actually quantified it and tangibly got the results for that. And he's got various tools. You can do guided meditations from him. You can simply just be aware of your emotions. You can simply just be aware as soon as your body goes into a tense state, hold on a second, I'm operating from my limbic system. I'm literally losing intelligence. I'm losing my ability to think expansively for innovation, to be creative for innovation. Let me get myself back into a neutral medium or into a positive state. And whatever it is that brings you into a positive state, whether it is thinking about your vacation, thinking about your family, whatever thought then brings you back into a positive state, even if you just do that, you are exponentially enabling your ability to be able to innovate.
So how do you then bring yourself to a positive state in the midst of so much despair? And I'm looking at examples. I mean, we have a massive crime rate of violent crime in our country, and we know that. There's massive issues of poverty. There's discussion right now around students at universities who can't even get in. Those that get in are actually sleeping at dormitories and toilets because they have nowhere else to stay. Now, in that midst, these are the lucky ones who go to universities, for example. How do they find the positivity amongst the obvious negativity?
Well, the challenge is, you always find whatever you seek. So you have in your frontal lobe, you have a reticular activating system, which is RAS, and that's your filter. So whatever you focus your attention on, energy will go there. Now, I read news articles, mainstream, off-stream, globally and in South Africa. So I'm always reading news, and a lot of that news is negative, but I also look out for the positive. So you need to be informed. So you need to know what's happening. And there's a lot of negativity happening, but there's also equally positive if you go out there and look for it. And really amazing inspirational stories that are people are achieving absolutely the impossible. So what also what you're feeding yourself.
Absolutely, but having said that, if someone like you and me encounter others who are steeped in negativity, and maybe negativity sometimes unjustifiably, so sometimes absolutely justified, right? What would be the trigger to tell them to snap out, just like that, out of the negativity?
Well, it's unfortunately, unless you are at cause, you're not able to bring about change. So the individual needs to have some kind of ownership for their situation to be able to bring about the change that they actually need. So by staying in their situation where they're looking at the negative or searching out the negative, they're not then able to change themselves for the positive. So I'd say being at cause. It is a challenge because I know we do have individuals who are in very adverse situations that many of us could not possibly understand or hope for, and that's where all of us should understand the value of social cohesion and what are each one of us doing to uplift as many as possible.
Okay.
Which is also an innovation concept in terms of authentic innovation, where there's such a thing as stakeholder theory, and what are each of us doing to uplift.
Okay, that's where we're going to leave it. Wendy Mahoney from Newmella Holdings, who's an innovation specialist. Wendy, just a quick one. Is there a website or a social media portal you can direct us to?
Yes, my website is www, obviously, Newmella, opposite of old, and then mella.co.za. I do have some assessments online that people are welcome to take some of the assessments, which I'll get a notification when they've done it, and I'll send them a report, which will give them some kind of indication as to their processing style.
And if you're able to tweet some of those links regarding the assessments, feel free to do so right away.
Sure.
Take me, Ashraf Garda, hashtag SFM Viewpoint. I will certainly share it. There we are. Wendy Mahoney from Newmella Holdings, getting a new mind, I suppose, for yourself. Now, you do know that we've had the new drama away from Josie Dark. It's called The Paper. Here it is.